On the morning of October 1957, something strange happened to three 15-year-old boys. William Lang, Ray Baker, and Michael Crowley were Royal Navy cadets travelling across the Suffolk countryside as part of an orienteering exercise. As they were approaching their target, an idyllic village called Kersey, the boys became distracted by the sound of church bells and a plume of smoke rising above the hill that they were climbing. They had finally stumbled across the village of Kersey, but as they approached, they began to feel increasingly uneasy. The first thing that they noticed was how, one by one, the sounds of nature that had surrounded them began to fall away. All that was left was the trickle of a nearby stream and the sounds of the church bells. As they entered the outskirts of the village, they saw that the autumnal trees were full and green, as if it was springtime. The cool breeze they'd been walking in was also gone, and they could no longer see the smoking chimneys or the church spire that had drawn them to Kersey in the first place. The streets were deserted with no signs of life. This wouldn't have seemed so strange, as it was a Sunday morning in the rural heart of 50s England after all, but something else struck the boys as odd. There were no cars to be found lining the streets, no telephone wires hanging from the buildings, and no TV aerials on village roofs. There was no sign of modern technology whatsoever. The buildings themselves looked ancient. They were timber framed and had seemingly been built by hand, or as one boy said, almost medieval in appearance. It was then that the boys' strange experience began to turn into something more sinister. Driven by curiosity, the boys approached the building nearest to them, which appeared to be a butcher's shop. One of the boys noted, there were no tables or counters, just 2 or 3 whole oxen carcasses, which had been skinned and in places were quite green with age. There was a green painted door and windows with smallish glass panes, one at the front and one at the side, rather dirty looking. I remember that as we three looked through that window in disbelief at the general green and mouldy carcasses, the general feeling certainly was one of disbelief and unreality.